I'm a newbie and have contacted a local pro dom for a session. I'm a first timer and don't know what the etiquette is. I'm not sure what I should ask for. It's my first BDSM experience. She is well known and respected in the local community, and I just don't want to do or say something stupid that will ruin the experience. What are the do's and don'ts of pro dom etiquette? Hello, my pets, and welcome into The Dungeon, the podcast for submissives to learn, grow, be entertained, and ultimately find empowerment in their lifestyle. I'm your host, Kat Nash, the City Dominatrix, and this week's podcast is directed towards a very specific niche audience, a submissive contacting a pro dom for the first time. However, if this is not you, you may just find that there are gems in here that apply to contacting any femdom for the first time. The opening quotes were found on a FetLife forum. Unfortunately, the post was from 2020, or I would have chimed into the plethora of femdoms who weren't professional dominatrixes who replied. But instead, I'm making this episode. So whether you are a curious submissive thinking about contacting a professional dominatrix for the first time, or you are a sub seeking your future femdom, or even just a regular play partner, this episode is for you. So first off, we'll get into the etiquette. Always, always, always approach a femdom with the utmost respect. Remember that you are not owed a woman's time, attention, and energy. They're a gift, really. A woman doesn't have to respond to you. She doesn't even have to respond to you in order to still be considered a good person. I can't imagine being able to do literally anything else in life if I had to respond to every single male message sent to me. There's simply not enough time in the day. And we have priorities, boundaries, and a life outside of replying to strangers' men's messages. It would do you well to remember this in any interaction with women, but especially femdoms who are a rarity and therefore in higher demand. Contact us with respect and humility. Big egos and entitlement are an enormous turnoff. Now, I don't want this to be confused with confidence. I prefer men who are confident in their abilities and know themselves, or at the very minimum, know what they're interested in. But this is much different from a guy who acts like he's somehow doing us a favor by showing interest. Do not message a femdom with a list of what you want. That's a big one. Don't be trite or boring. I recently had a stranger send me an email and all it said was, and I quote, "I'm bi-curious," end quote. That was it. There was no introduction, nothing else. Okay, what the fuck? Congratulations, I guess? What a waste of the half a second it took to open and read that. I can't get that second back, you know? In actuality, it was worth an incredulous laugh from me. But imagine what it's like having an inbox full of messages similarly brain dead. The, "Hey, you're hot," or "I'd like you to peg me," or "I want to be pegged," or even the ones who can form a sentence, but are obviously not good matches. To put it mildly, it is a lot. So think before you message a woman. If you are messaging a femdom, ensure that you have read her entire profile and website if she has one. I'm serious. Read every single word. And this is not you doing her a favor or something that you should be applauded for doing. "I read your website," or "I read your profile." No, this is the very basic that anyone should do before cold contacting another person, period. And it's something that I guarantee women do before cold contacting another. It's just basic. Do it. Know a little bit about who she is and what she's looking for and what she expects. And oftentimes, she'll give instructions on her expectations for contact. For example, A lot of women will have their honorifics mentioned in their writing. If she refers to herself as a goddess, likely so should you. However, there are some femdoms out there who reserve their honorifics for those they've chosen. So it really is best to ask. And this is a great thing to add to the first contact. What honorifics would you prefer I use for you? If it's a pro-dom, it's acceptable to tell them that you're interested in booking a session. If it's not a pro-dom, it's imperative that you get to know her and don't go straight into what you are wanting. It's shocking to me how many men think that just because a woman is a femdom, that she's going to be into the same kinks as him. There are so many kinks out there, and it's crazy to think that someone would just assume that just because a woman is dominant, that she's going to have your kink. Like, I don't peg. I'm not going to milk a cock. I'm not going to touch a cock unless it's with a 10-foot pole. Or, okay, maybe with a 1-foot electro wand. But there will be no making a man orgasm. That's for damn sure. I know one femdom, a professional dominatrix actually, and she is an expert at spanking. And guess what? That's the only thing she does. She has an entire successful business based solely on spanking people. So when you do contact the female that you're thinking of, do it with the hopes of getting to know her a little bit better. If it is a pro-dom you are contacting, do not give a laundry list of kinks you want her to do to you in the first message. If she asks for your interests, then is the time to share. Now, a little side note here for your safety, guys. If you are contacting a professional dominatrix and she doesn't ask you your interests and limits, I would be wary. So many of my clients have stories about never discussing things with the professionals that they have been to and experiencing things way outside of what they expected. And just some of the stories that I've heard from my personal clients have been experiences of intense pain and ball busting, needle play, peeing in their mouths, pegging, and actual intercourse. And all of these particular individual cases that I'm talking about, in none of them had it been discussed beforehand. Now, of course, these are all things that can and do happen in some sessions with some dominatrixes. However, each of these things should have been discussed first, and none of them were. Another great reason why it's so important to read a woman's profile or website. If she posts about blood play and knife play all the time, and you're only paying attention to the fact that she's a femdom and you're hoping to get pegged, well, honey, you could be in for a shocking surprise. You know what I mean? Do your homework first. Don't contact a woman before reading up on her. And when you do contact her, ensure that it is with respect. Be interesting. Let her know that you're interested in her, either in booking a session or in getting to know her better. And really, those are the only two options. If you contact a pro-dom, it should be with the intent of booking a session. If you contact a lifestyle dom, it should be to attempt to get to know her better and potentially form a connection. And in that case, you better come armed with ways in which you can serve her. How can you serve her? How can you make her life better? So many submissive men come at a femdom only thinking about what she can do for him. Ooh, she could tie me up. Ooh, she could be my mommy dom. Or, oh yeah, I want to get pegged. She can peg me. She'll be my goddess. Why the actual fuck would she want to do any of those things? Just because she says she's a femdom? Who are you to her? What do you have to offer her? Why would she choose you? Why would she want to do that to you? Who the fuck do you think you are? So really, unless there is a monetary exchange, then you should be approaching a femdom from the perspective of, what do I have to offer her? Think of it as like those penguins where the males build lovely little rock nests to try to entice female penguins to choose them, the Undeli penguins. Or the bird of paradise, where the male clears a spot in the forest and performs a dance to try to impress the female. or the lyrebird who sings impressive and complex songs to the female lyrebird, or the Mormon cricket who presents gifts to its prospective mate, or the male bower beetle who creates elaborate structures to impress prospective females, or the hamadryas baboons that try to impress females with their herding and their guarding and their impressive manes and their body strength. Most of the animal kingdom involves an interplay of the males of the species trying to impress the females to win their attention. We can just think of humans as being so out of whack for so long that femdoms and submissive men are getting back into the alignment that we're meant to be in. And if you want to be part of this evolutionary correction, then you'll take note from the natural world and work on impressing the female. It's not enough that you're male. Like, that's just not enough for us. I'm a dude and I like her. That should be good enough. No, it's fucking not. What do you have to offer her? At the bare minimum, it should be interesting conversation. And this includes both asking questions that she will want to answer, being genuinely interested in what she has to say, and contributing to the discussion. These 3 things are essential for good communication. And if you don't have them down, you're going to fail, period. So write these down. Number 1, questions that she will want to answer. Number 2, have genuine interest in what she's saying. And the key to this one is to ensure that the questions you're asking hold interest to you as well. The key is being curious. And be sure to read the room to ensure that she's open to answering questions and it's not like you're prying. Like, maybe don't jump in with the most personal questions first, but ask something that you are interested in. I generally will never ask someone, how was work today? Because your answer will likely bore the shit out of me. I really don't care. I don't want to hear about what's going on with your job because probably your job is really boring to me. But I may ask someone, has anything exciting happened to you recently? Or something else vague but stimulating if there's no other immediate reason for chatting with them. I have clients that sometimes contact me to see how I'm doing in between sessions. And this is great. This is fine. I sometimes check on them as well. But a client who weekly messages me and says, hey, how is your week going? I really don't appreciate that. And here's why. Number 1, there's really no need for them to be messaging me. This is not they're not introducing themselves. Are they wanting my conversation? A professional is busy. She's a business owner. She's an entrepreneur. If we wanted to just sit around and message people, rest assured that we have friends and family for that. We don't care to do it with our clients if they're not also paying for this attention. Think of it this way. You go to a therapist, right? You do your therapy thing. You don't then just regularly text your therapist to see how she's doing and to chat with her, do you? No. That's fucking weird, right? Well, a professional dominatrix is a lot like a therapist. And if this idea is outrageous to you, then it's obvious to me that you've never been to a pro-dom. Otherwise, you would completely understand. But to summarize all of this, don't be a fucking time waster. It's okay to ask questions and get to know a femdom a little better if she has stated that she is seeking a submissive, and she is also reciprocating the conversation with mutual interest. If she's not, then take the hint and bug off. Or if you know that you're horrible at understanding women, it is completely acceptable to say something like, I'm interested in you, but I'm not good at getting a good read on women yet. Are you interested in me as well? Or would you prefer I just discontinue this communication? And this may sound awkward or lame to you, but I assure you that this type of clear communication is greatly appreciated by women. Just be honest, be transparent. Like, I'm not sure, I can't tell if you like me or not. Do you want me to leave you alone? Just be honest. Regarding the pro-dom, if you've made your introduction and you've talked a little about both of your interests and it seems symbiotic, go ahead and schedule something. You'll likely have to pay at least a deposit to secure your appointment time. And there are some dominatrixes out there that require tribute just to communicate with them. This does not automatically mean that they are a scam or a findom. This just means that they have had the unfortunate experience of a lot of time-wasting men and have set up really good personal boundaries to preserve their time and energy. Or they could be a scam. How can you tell? Well, it's a good bet that if she's active on FetLife or whatever forums, like if she's got social media, that she actually communicates publicly with fans, you're likely good to go. Simply because if someone is in a community like that, they have accountability, and this is their job, you know? Anyone can snag some porny pictures online, create a profile, a Cash App, and scam men. But if someone is active in the community or in the public eye just a bit, you know, going to events, there's a really good chance that she's legit. Does this make sense to you? And if you're finding someone who just recently opened their account and has no links to anything else, and you can't see any posts in which they've interacted with anyone or gotten involved in anything, they're not going to any events, there's at least a 50-50 chance that this is a scammer. Especially if they contacted you, you know? If they're contacting you for you to come to them to pay, there's a very good chance that they're a scammer. This is also why reading profiles and websites thoroughly is essential. You need to protect yourself as well. So use your spidey senses a little bit. And they're less likely to be a scammer if they aren't professional and you're just seeking a partner, but there is still that possibility. So you're afraid of saying something stupid. Well, try not to do that, but you know, it happens. If you're dealing with a professional dominatrix, she'll be pretty forgiving. I know that we can seem ultra intimidating, and yes, we are admittedly quite scary. But in reality, since this is our job, we're absolutely accustomed to quivering, mind-melted men unable to form complete sentences around us. For us, this is pretty typical, and we are forgiving. For lifestyle femdoms, they may seem less intimidating, but honestly, I feel like the stakes are much higher. So just try to be on your very best impressive behavior. And if you fuck something up, don't hesitate to apologize and admit it. Like, I think it's adorable when a guy says, I can't believe I just said that. Wow, I feel stupid. That's precious to me. A guy who has not let his ego overshadow his humility is evolved, and that's very appealing as a submissive. So don't let being afraid of saying the wrong thing prevent you from trying in the first place. Now, if you have had some experiences talking to femdoms and have yet to have one even reciprocate interest in you, check your public image. What does your profile say about you? And if your profile has literally nothing about you, I assure you that that's actually saying a lot. If you've just been perving on a bunch of women, we can see that, at least if you're on FetLife. If it has anything negative towards women, or dissing prodoms or findoms, or, you know, saying, oh, you women, anything negative about women, you're very unlikely to have women interested in you. If your typical interactions with femdoms have been a couple of messages back and forth and then she ghosts you, you're boring her. You're a time waster. Figure it out, dude. Be more interesting. Have more value. If it's a professional, they're going to want to get straight to it. Either booking a meeting, a meet and greet, a FaceTime, a phone call, or an actual session, however she operates. We loathe time wasters. So if you contact a pro, be sure to know kind of what you're hoping to get out of a session, what your kinks and limits are, and then also have scheduling availability already in mind. And keep in mind that some prodoms have a wait list. You know, I have several month-long wait lists. So I hope this has clued you in a bit about what to expect when contacting a professional dominatrix. And also for those of you looking for your femdom, these are really good things to keep in mind for you as well. Don't waste time. Be interesting. Know what you want, or at least have some ideas about what interests you. And then approach a woman with genuine curiosity about her. She is not a vending machine that you can just go to get what you want. She's a living, breathing human with needs, desires, dislikes, and moods. Be curious about her. If you've liked or learned something from me, be sure to like and subscribe. If you're curious about me, you can find out more at www.KatNash.com. And I have the extreme pleasure of being an industry guest at DomCon in New Orleans this coming weekend. If you're there, look for me and say hello. I won't bite. You know that's not true. I might bite. And for all you listeners that aren't going to DomCon, I may just base next week's episode on my DomCon adventure. So stay tuned. And until next time, stay kinky, my pets.